We're definitely a changing team, and to speak on that a little bit,
sure.
let's talk about this. Is as we see these OTAs unfold, Cody, some of the talk at this point has been, or a lot of talk has been about the defense. We've speculated about the shifts that we've been making in a 3-4 defense, and we continue to hear things about the Panthers adapting to this new NFL, which is strange to me. But I think what we're seeing is that what was rumored as some just minor changes at first, or some changes, has been a philosophical overhaul when it comes to the defense. Cody, let's go ahead and put up the 3-4 defense clip. It's just a tweet that I saw from Joe Person today. And Joe Person, he said Ron Rivera still hasn't said the Panthers primarily a 3-4 three-man front, but he strongly suggested it today when he referenced making the move to a little bit of a 3-4 base. Now, so we've seen suggestions of this when it comes to moves in free agency, the addition of Bruce Irvin. You wondered about some of the talent on the team already, whether it be a Marquise Haynes, whether it be a Mario Addison. Were they better suited for that different front? And then the Panthers go out and get Brian Burns, Christian Miller, and now everything we see, they let all the linebackers, the traditional type linebackers, walk. It's Luke Kuechly and Shaq. And then I think we are making the full sell change, a complete change to a 3-4 defense. And then it goes on, and Jordan Rodriguez then tells us to, whoa, slow your roll. She says this, she quote retweeted Joe Person, and she said, there's going to be a lot of 3-down linemen. Sometimes there will be 4-down linemen and nickel. But because they want to be as multiple as possible, even the definition of a base is a bit restrictive. They've been okay with being restrictive on offense, on defense, no more. Jordan Rodriguez bought 100% into the coach speak, and I'm telling you this, it is not that complicated, Jordan. Joe Person is right here. The Panthers defense is gone to a 3-4 defense. It's plain and simple. And don't give me this nonsense about, well, of course they're going to play nickel. Well, of course, 3-4 different defenses play nickel too. So do they put 4-down linemen down. This defense will look like a lot. I was looking at Pittsburgh Steeler tape going back when they played the Panthers. That's what this defense is going to be. And you're not going to say the Steelers aren't a 3-4 defense. It's more complicated than that. They're a 3-4 defense.
Well, first let me do this. Joe Riolano is on the show tonight. Joe Riolano, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm doing real well. Glad to be up in the hizzy tonight.
Welcome to the house, Joe.
We're happy to have you on Tuesday night, man. But one of the things I do want to say is I disagree with you, Tony Dunn. I think Jordan has to be right. And let me tell you why. Because there is literally the difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4 is pointless if the whole reason why you're doing things differently is because you don't want to know, or you don't want the opposing offenses to know where you're rushing from and what you're going to do, down in and down out. They want to be able to confuse the offense and provide them different looks. And I think if you went to a primary 3-4, even though we've drafted the people to do it, I still think it benefits us to be able to use, people like F.A. Obata and Mario Addison as a 5-tech in a 4-3 defense. I really do feel that this isn't going to be a permanent every down thing. They want to be able to switch it up and throw different things at them. And I'm hoping that Ron Rivera stays true to his word and that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, I'm not sure that it's going to be a very successful venture if that's what we did all the time.
Well, I don't think we're doing it all the time. I think what we're going to experience is running the 3-4 a lot, but we will also incorporate a 3-3-5. when on passing downs, we won't necessarily go to a 4-down a 4-down lineman situation. We may stay with a 3-3-5. So I think you'll see a little bit more of that, and that may be where you notice the bigger difference. That
I'm hoping
you'll
so.
see more 3-3-5.
I'm telling you, this is going to look significantly different from what we have ever seen as Panther fans. Going back, I'm telling you this. I watched the game for the go back and watch week 10 versus, well, it's week 10, but it was like our week 8 or week 9 because we had a bye week at that point where we fell off the rails when the Steelers game.
Mm-hmm.
That defense, they went out there, they gave 3 down lineman looks. They gave 4 in a couple of short yardage situations where they were 4th and 1 situation. They went to something that looked a little bit more traditional of what we did. But I'm telling you, their defensive ends were standing up and the whole time, even when they were crowding the line. And they ran the nickel a ton. What I saw was this, is like Joe said, there was 3-3-5, but that third linebacker is barely a linebacker in that system there.
Yeah.
He is crashing on that passing down, and then you have 5 corners out there. I say you're going to see Luke Kuechly, you're going to see Shaq Thompson in the middle, you're going to see us in nickel a lot when they're in passing downs, and then we're going to be crashing with that third linebacker. It's going to look different, and I am against what I think is to be like, oh, it's so nuanced. It's concentric circles, and it's not one or the other, and this and that. No, you look at it, and I tell you what, how about this? You might not be able to call the 3-4 the base defense, but you sure as hell won't be able to call it a 4-3.
No, I mean, and the end doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just of the mindset that, if we're able to do a number of different things. So look at it this way: F.A. Obada, who's still going to be on the football team, who I think is going to make the roster, isn't going to be on the roster as an outside linebacker. They're going to want him as a 4-3 defensive end. Right now, we're in a good position.
They're just going to want him as a defensive end. That's the thing, is that he might be standing up. He could put it.
I don't think you put him standing up.
When you go back and watch the Steelers film, is all like half the time they're standing up, even when they're all 4 of them are on the line. 2 of them are standing up.
Trying to be the Steelers, on defense.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean,
similar.
Similar. Is that
you're not talking about?
They have Bud Dupree. They count one of their linebackers as Bud Dupree. The guy's 269 pounds.
Okay.
And they call him a linebacker. Yeah. And all they do is stand up and rush at the quarterback. That's what he does. He runs. He's a defensive end who is what I think is that I just feel that the Panthers go into a 3-4, and that whenever it is a passing down where the offense has the advantage, they're going to be in nickel. And whenever the defense has the slight advantage, that is down and distance advantage, 3 and longer, they're going to crash an extra linebacker, and that guy is not going to be Thomas Davis anymore. It's Bruce Irving. It's Brian Burns. These guys, is that it's going to be a lot more oriented, I think, at stopping the pass and sacking the quarterback.
Right, stopping the pass by getting to the quarterback.
Yes.
I think, Cody, you have a point with F.A. Obada. You're going to see a 4-man front in 4th and a yard and a half, like you said, Tony, in the Steelers game when they played the Panthers last year. You'll see the defensive end come in and line up as part of a 4-man front on a short yardage situation. He'll definitely be in the game then. I'm talking about
3rd and 2, where you think.
Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
Yes, or those situations. I think you watch the Steelers tape, and there were times that they had 4 men with their hand in the dirt. But most of the time, I tell you this, is that I just don't feel that this commitment has been impartial, just in part. It really seems like the Panthers are destined at this point for a really significant change on defense. And I don't want to hear this is that it's the evolution of the NFL and we have to blend and blend and blend. The person who doesn't evolve, and I don't trust the words evolution in his mouth, is Ron Rivera. He tried to give us the evolution line forever. Is that this is going to a defense that just tends to work better in this NFL with the type of talent that's coming out of college. The linemen that are coming out of college tend to thrive in that system a little bit more.
I mean, that is true. I do think that 3-4 tends to be the trend, but there's still a lot of successful 4-3 teams, and like I said, the ability to switch up our rush and not be so predictable on defense. I mean, I'm taking Ron Rivera at his word. And think of it this way: we've been a 4-3 for so long. Our players damn near have it ingrained in their brains on how to pass rush from a 4-3. So, I mean, it's really kind of, if you're not going to have 4 down linemen at some point in time, when that's what they've been doing for, however long they've been in Carolina, it's almost, a bad idea to not use them in that area, especially when they're so used to it. Then on other downs,
we're not going to start FA about it, though.
No, I know. Well, I don't know. Probably not. But then you have different packages with people like, Brian Burns and Christian Miller coming in, Bruce Irvin for the versatility. I feel we have the personality that if we stuck to one over the other, that's just being lazy and conforming to the fads of the time rather than trying to do something new and dynamic, which is what I genuinely hope that we are doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we have the personnel to run a lot of 4-3 anymore. And I would even say at linebacker too.
There's no doubt. We will definitely see it. And at the same time, we may not be done with acquisitions. I don't know if we got to that, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but just looking at McCoy.
What would he do to the defense?
I think he'd play defensive end in the 4-3, right? I don't think he's a nose tackle.
He played defensive tackle though.
Yeah, he played defensive tackle
4-3
in a 4-3. But if over here,
he could be a defensive end in a 3-4.
In a 3-4 playing that 3-tech. So imagine Poe in the middle, K1 on one side, Gerald McCoy on the other side. Then hold on, we're not done. Then let's put Brian Burns as outside linebacker. Then let's put Christian Miller or Bruce Irvin on the other side, and let's beat the shit out of the quarterback, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm down for that, man.
Really
I think he's going to be too expensive.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we'll get him. But if we could, man, the things that could happen.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I'm excited about the shift, and I think that it's going to be a breath of fresh air to our defense. And I think it's going to work and play towards this NFL a lot that is getting the ball out quick. I like that the athletes and how they look at it in the 3. Look, we have always struggled against 3-4 defenses. Our own offense has always struggled.
Because it was so rare that you play a 3-4 defense. It really was. I mean, everyone ran a 4-3 for the most part, save a couple of teams. So, yeah, you don't really see it. So it's a whole nother ball game when you have to play against it.
I do think, I think that my gear grinding with Jordan in this case, Jordan Rodriguez, is not that it was grinding gears. Is that I do think at some point too that when you're trying to be the reporter and the objective one, the good one, that you can play it too conservative when I think is, look, Ron Rivera is feeding us these kind of lines like, don't expect too much. We're just do whatever is the best situation. But we've never done anything like this in the past. And let's not act like those couple of times we did it last year was us mixing it in. It was just a sprinkle. Well, this is going to be a featured ingredient now in our defense. Right. And Ron Rivera has had experience with this defense in the past.
This is a commitment from us. It's a commitment to a new type of defense.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Doing something new, being able to, like I said many times before, rush the quarterback from multiple different positions. I think that's needed for us, man. And then think about how it benefits Luke. And they're not to jump the gun, but they put an article about that today on how Luke does in a 3-4 alignment and whether if he benefits or not. And I didn't read it yet, but I personally feel like now, you have him in different positions. They don't know what Luke is doing, where he's going, what he's doing with the football. That's exciting, and it opens up a new facet to one of the best players that has ever been in a Carolina Panther jersey. By the way, just a little tidbit of what he's been doing at OTAs. Grabbing interceptions like it's nothing, like number 59 does. I'm ready for it, man. I feel it'll be a fun defense to watch.
I like the idea of the 3-4 defense, and we'll get off of it in just a second. I just what I like about it in this case is that I think sometimes in the traditional defense, you ask the linebackers, it's hard to get linebackers, enough of them that are good. And I know that sounds crazy because in a 3-4 defense, you're putting more linebackers, but I barely count those guys as linebackers. Calling Bud Dupree a linebacker to me, calling Bruce Irvin a linebacker to me is not who I think of when I think of a linebacker. And that is not been the Thomas Davis, the Luke Kuechly, the Will Witherspoons, who was the Dan Morgans. Those are not those types of players. I think that the defensive ends too, the guys that are coming out, and the fact that we have this stupid, or we have this like claim now, we call them edge rushers. Like they're not defensive ends. They're just like edge guys. To me, is that's like they're barely defensive ends in that case. So yeah. I feel like this is that we've got two guys on our team who can be real linebackers. I don't know if we've got the athletes and the horses to ask a linebacker to keep up with a slot receiver from another team.
No, and that's not the matchup that you would want. I mean, generally a slot receiver is.
It would happen if you trot three kind of traditional, the inside, the outside, the inside linebacker, this middle, and those traditional ones. They get put in those roles at times. But I think what you're going to see is that when we really think they're passing, we're going to have a lot of corners out there, and we're going to have a linebacker who really is a defensive end rushing the quarterback every time.
And then to what Joey was saying. You put a 3-3-5, and then you have 5 defensive backs. You can have Eric Reed, Rashawn Golden, Dante Jackson, Bradbury on the field at the same time, and really, you're betting on being able to hit the quarterback and being able to take the ball away. Give your defensive backs the opportunity to make a play on the football and take the ball away and get those highly coveted interceptions. And I feel we're in a good position to try and do that.
Joey, I saw this.